Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to our channel. We are less than 3 weeks officially away from leaving for Fiji, and we wanted to give you guys a quick update as to what we're up to and also talk a little bit about the finances and how we are affording being able to travel around the world. Where did you want to start?
This last week, we got to go to the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills.
We finally arrived here at our potential partnership hotel, and we're going to take you guys along for the ride, so let's go check out our room.
We had been to another one of their properties quite recently in Park City. Actually, we did a little staycation for our anniversary in Park City, which was so much fun. And Brett connected with the PR girl there and was like, "Hey, thank you so much." And she really appreciated the piece that Brett wrote for the property. And she was like, "Oh, where are you guys heading to next? Blah, blah, blah." Long story short, she said, "Oh, let me connect you with the PR person at the Beverly Hills location." So
yeah, it was a great experience to be able to stay at probably one of the nicest hotels in all of LA County. We actually got to ride in a $500,000 Rolls Royce, and we'll put a picture in. And it was a great experience. It's definitely one of the key portions of how we're able to afford to travel. We're going to go into that in just a second, but definitely recommend the Waldorf Astoria Beverly Hills. I mean, it sounds just as fancy as it is. They did a great job of putting us up, and it was an enjoyable little one-night staycation. But let's dive into the finances a little bit and kind of what the numbers look like. So when you're traveling full-time, and this is again, just a hypothesis, we haven't done it just yet, but when you're traveling full-time, you obviously aren't paying rent anywhere. You ideally wouldn't have any cars. You don't have any car insurance, any car payments. The only bill that you and I have is, one, my student loans, unfortunately, and then two, our cell phone bill.
yeah, your bills go from like a laundry list when you're like in your roots basically down to
A couple bills.
all of 2-3 items basically.
And so obviously the next question is, well, what about flights? What about accommodations while you're traveling? Food, expenditures, fun obviously being one of them, because you don't want to travel and not be able to have fun. But the ironic part of it is that once you are able to leave the United States and escape out, you are actually able to see how inexpensive things actually get. So just as an example, so we're going to be booking our flight from New Zealand to Sydney, Australia here most likely this weekend, and that's about a 3.5 hour flight. So in a comparison, let's say it's a flight from Los Angeles to Dallas. So an LA to Dallas flight usually runs in probably around the $200 to $300 range, and it's somewhat equidistant, but the flight from Auckland, New Zealand to Sydney, Australia is about in the $100 to $150 range.
Sometimes even less.
Yeah, so a large part of why U.S. carriers have to charge so much is because, unfortunately, of federal and state taxes, and U.S. airports are just very expensive to maintain. And so once you're able to escape the United States, it tends to get a bit cheaper. And then the next level of that is obviously accommodations. So no, we're not going to be staying in 5-star hotels the entire time, unfortunately.
Beverly Hills,
yeah, it's not going to be
every time.
It's not going to be Waldorfs every single time, but it's going to be a lot of Airbnbs, hostels, homestays, couch surfing, and there's literally a website called couchsurfer.com. Just a lot of minimalistic, very cost-effective accommodations, just because there really is no need to pay for hotels all across the world, but when it makes sense, we'll go ahead and do that.
Also with our blogs and our vlogs and Brett's job, he'll hopefully be able to, when it's like when we can find the opportunity to be able to partner, like we just did with the Waldorf Astoria Beverly Hills. We partnered with them, we offer them something in exchange. For example, Brett said to them, hey, I'd love to come down to the property. I'd love to write you into a piece in exchange for X amount of nights. So when that's available to us, we'll definitely be taking advantage of that. But when it's not, those other options will be our primary accommodations.
Yeah. So what else kind of the finances of it? So we talked about airlines, we talked about, food. So obviously being in certain countries, it's going to cost a lot. Like the food is going to be very expensive, but in other countries, it is extremely inexpensive. So for example, Thailand and Bali, you could literally eat for $1 or $2 per day. And so when you take that and you scale it to maybe, let's say you stay in Bali for a month, I mean, your monthly expenses are, somewhere in the $400 to $500 a month range. And the best part of it all is when you are working online, like her and I are, you're able to make United States dollars, which is one of the best currencies, and take it to countries where the dollar stretches really far. And so that in a nutshell is how we are affording it. We are definitely not having our parents pay for this. This is something that we have completely financed on our own, but our end goal from a financial perspective is to actually escape this with actually not touching our savings. We don't want to touch our savings, and if that unfortunately does have to happen, we may have to reconsider, continuing to travel at this rate, but we don't intend that on happening.
Yeah, so the goal is to leave. We have X amount of dollars in our savings account. The goal is to come back with more money in our savings so that when we do decide we want to live in whatever country or whatever state or wherever, we have money to put our roots down in that place.
And not only that too, but as I mentioned in the last video, credit card points and miles is a very small love of mine, and it's allowing us to take anywhere from very minimalistic travel all the way up into super luxury first travel or first class travel. So one of the flights that we're going to be taking somewhere during our travels is actually, and I'll link it in the video below or in the description below, is Singapore Suites first class product, and it is an outstanding product. I haven't flown it just yet, we haven't flown it just yet, but we do have enough points to go ahead and do that, and so that's kind of a bucket list item for, definitely not the most economical way to travel. I mean, it's $40,000 worth of flights, we're not paying anything for it, but nonetheless, it's something that I would mainly like to do and she would like to do as well.
So yeah, the credit card and miles and point system kind of ties into our finances for flights and for accommodation. So we do use, we will use our flight points and our hotel points to be booking stays here and there and flights here and there when it works out.
Yeah, when it makes sense.
When it makes sense.
So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what we're planning on. Again, who knows what's going to end up happening out there, but hotel partnerships is definitely something we've capitalized on a bit just during our travels throughout dating and now into married life, but now we're going to kind of step it up to the next level and hopefully stay at some pretty luxurious properties around the world and be able to tell their story and hopefully get some free accommodations out of it. So that's kind of it for the financing part of things.
In a nutshell.
We could
go down 700 roads about credit cards and points and all the trips that we've taken advantage of and the cool things that we've been able to do because of these opportunities that we have. But that's kind of it and wrapped up bow tie summary.
Yeah, so now we're less than 3 weeks out. Anxiety is starting to build, definitely. We are going to Cabo on Monday, which is super exciting.
And the funny thing about the Cabo is talking about flights is we decided, we'll just fly United basic economy, and I don't know how much you guys know about baggage policies and all that, but we thought, it's fine. We're going to Cabo. We'll just take our little day packs, and that'll be just great. So I'll probably put some of that footage in the next video.
One of our brightest ideas.
The struggles of being a minimalist packer and the restrictions of certain airlines and their baggage policies can be pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah. So Cabo on Monday, we come back. We're here for basically 8 or 9 more days, and then we're out of here. Yep. So we're going to continue vlogging our way through this, but if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to comment or shoot us an email. We're going to continue talking about what this really means for us as a couple, what this means, what the accessibility of this is, how realistic it is for anyone, our age to be able to do this. I mean, a lot of people say, I can't do that. That's not for me. Well, you can. Travel has become so accessible now financially, and anyone can really do this. If you put your mind to it, you really can accomplish a lot when it comes to travel. For example, I wrote a story recently, I'll put a link below. The girl who crushed the world record for visiting all 196 countries did it at 21 years old. Her name's Lexi, she's from Northern California, and she just said, I just put my mind to it and it's something I wanted to do in my lifetime, and there was nothing that was going to stop me from doing it. So for anyone out there saying I can't do this, you really absolutely can do it, and it just takes the right resources, the right mindset, and a strategy. I think
we're all just normal people just out here just finding that love for travel, and once you find it, you're like, I gotta do it. So we just
that's what happened to us.
Yeah, same thing happened to us. We just took a few trips together and we're like, why can't we do this all the time? So, and anyone could do it. That's what we said. We said like anyone can do it. Like, we're nobody special. We're just two people. Lexi's just a girl. Like, nothing, no crazy amounts of money. No, like there's nothing that could hold you back really from doing something like this.
Yep. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. We're gonna film some footage in Cabo and hopefully get a little tan in progress or while we're doing that as well, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.